Welcome to the South Ops Fire Weather Webcast for Wednesday, October 22nd. I'm your host, Kristen Stewart. As we widen our view of the visible satellite imagery this morning, we can see a weak area of low pressure cut off from the main jet stream hanging off the Southern California coast around Point Conception. Over the last few days, this low pressure system has slowly drifted closer to the coast, and today it is expected to move its way into the state. This system has allowed the marine layer to deepen significantly and bring in lots of cloud cover, albeit quite disorganized, along with some light showers and thunderstorms. The cloud cover should stick around through a large portion of the day as the cutoff low continues its trek eastward. As the cutoff low pressure system continues to move inland today, scattered showers and thunderstorms will continue over central California, focusing mostly across the Sierra by this afternoon. There is very little moisture for the system to work with, so most locations that receive rainfall will only total up to 1/10 of an inch or so. Maybe some areas may get upwards of 1/4 inch under heavier showers. As is typical due to the lift they provide, the Sierra will see higher totals, likely around 1/2 inch, perhaps locally more through this evening. The cutoff low will bring significant cooling to the region today after a nice warm start to the week. Today's temperatures will cool at least 5 to 15 degrees over yesterday, with valley highs falling into the upper 60s to mid-70s. This is around 5 or so degrees below seasonal normal, giving way to a fabulous fall feeling under all the cloud cover. Minimum humidity will also increase to mainly above 40% everywhere except for the deserts and adjacent slopes, thanks to the more humid air mass. The forecast for the rest of this week and into next week will be a little bit topsy-turvy, but no major impacts are expected. I already mentioned a weak cutoff low moving inland into Southern California today, and this will be a quick mover. As it continues to move eastward, weak high pressure will quickly rebuild behind it for Thursday and Friday, bringing back a more sunny and seasonable feel to the weather. This too will be short-lived as a deep Pacific trough looks to spread across the west coast this weekend, bringing back more cooling. More long-standing high pressure looks to return next week. With weak high pressure building back in, temperatures will warm a little bit to slightly above normal for Thursday and Friday, with mid-70s to low 80s in the valleys. Minimum humidity will drop back to between 15 and 30% for most areas, with a return of abundant sunshine. So the end of this week is going to look a lot like the beginning of this week did, except probably a few degrees cooler than it was on Tuesday. To go with the topsy-turvy weather trend, cooling temperatures and increasing humidity is expected to return for the weekend. It is typically very difficult to get significant precipitation into southern and central California with Pacific troughs this early in the season, so we are not expecting a wet forecast this weekend. Heavy precipitation will be likely across northern California and into the Pacific Northwest from this system, with our region remaining mostly dry, though some light showers will be possible north of Monterey Bay. Winds are expected to be light for the majority of the period, with localized breeziness across the higher terrain. More widespread gusty westerly winds are expected this weekend across the deserts and higher terrain, becoming northerly by Monday. Thanks to the recent precipitation across the region, we are not expecting any fire weather concerns with these winds. No significant offshore winds are on the horizon yet, though with building high pressure early next week, some light to locally moderate offshore winds are likely, along with a gradual warming and drying trend. As we go further into the fall season, we will continue to monitor the forecast for any potential offshore wind events. When it comes to fuels, dead fuel moistures have been on falling trends since last week's storm, since dry weather has been prevalent. With the topsy-turvy weather through much of the forecast period, there will be some minor fluctuations in dead fuel moistures over the coming days. Thanks to the significant precipitation from last week, green-up is well underway across much of the region, signaling a prolonged seasonal slowing of fire danger, especially in central California. The picture is not as clear over southern California. We've had a lot of beneficial moisture, which has definitely taken some risk off the table heading into the peak of offshore wind season. However, for the first time in a while, it does look like we're moving into a prolonged warmer and drier pattern for Southern California, so it'll be really important to monitor fuel conditions in the coming weeks to help gauge just how much potential may be left out there. Thanks to the significant moisture from a storm system last week, along with no impactful fire weather concerns this week, large fire potential will remain low through the rest of October. And that's all I have for today. Thanks for tuning in. Our next webcast will be on Thursday, October 23rd. Have a fantastic day.